Before the weekly analysis begins, I just want to let you know that I do have a Patreon page. We have two tiers available. The first tier is called Start Off for £15 a month, and what you will receive is access to a Discord server containing the beginners, intermediate, and advanced course, risk management course for Elliot Wave trading, as well as financial literacy content. This tier is also for those who want to learn at their own pace and generally just support what I do and just join a community of like-minded traders. The second tier that I have is called the Waveologist for £35 a month, and what you receive is everything that I mentioned above with the addition of specific chart requests for me to annotate on a daily and weekly time frame, and one-to-one support or group sessions depending on how many people have subscribed to this tier. The group or one-to-one sessions are for those people who want a little bit of extra help with their Elliot Wave education and also give the opportunity to ask me as many questions. Please do keep in mind that these are going to be 1 hour sessions depending on how many people have subscribed, and also I would say please do consider joining. It is really good value for money, and without further ado, let's get into the analysis. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome back, guys. This is going to be my Elliot Wave count for pound yen, pound dollar, as well as gold. But first of all, any views, opinions, or suggestions that are expressed in this video do not constitute to trading or financial advice. So let's get started here on gold. So gold has been essentially rallying since it's sort of taken out these lows. I personally was expecting sort of gold to sort of sell off even more, but I guess I was wrong. And that's just part of the game. But nevertheless, it started to sort of you started to move towards the upside just a little bit more. And to me, looks like it could possibly be an expanded flat or even a running flat pattern, sort of in the process of completing. With that being said, this is still a corrective pattern. I personally don't really like trading this. I just wait for a bit more of a correction. Sorry, a bit more of an impulsive move to sort of come in after the correction. And essentially what I want to look for is a simple continuation towards the downside. The reason why I say more towards the downside in terms of short-term, long-term trend, it is moving quite bearish, and we have seen sort of levels of market structure towards the downside being broken, and we're sort of getting that sort of retracement to eventually come in and complete before we probably head towards the downside. So with gold, I want to essentially look for the sells to come in. We might see a move up to come up here, take out these highs, which is perfectly fine. That will essentially give us an expanded flat, and then once this sort of pattern has complete, or this flat has complete, then we should look for the sells towards to the downside essentially. And yeah, this could be an impulsive move to that. So we have a wave 1 here, or wave A, then a B, C into wave 2, or a wave B, and then for another wave 3 or wave 4, or sorry, a wave 3 or a wave C to eventually come in. So yeah, I'm expecting more downside with gold. Pound dollar. So pound dollar has been a bit tricky. I did say that we did hit that sort of 61.8% level, and we started to see that move coming back down, which we have got now. And what we're seeing now is essentially this sort of continuation towards the downside. Where do I see this market going? So I see it in terms of, I see it actually hitting towards, maybe coming down towards these levels, before we start to see sort of one more move possibly back up to the upside, or unless this could be an impulsive move starting. So this could be a wave 1, wave 2, and then a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, what I'm saying, into a flat or something like that, or even what do you call it, an impulsive move essentially towards the downside. At the same time, even if it has forward analysis, and we do have an A, B, C, and with 3 waves here, 3 waves here, and another 3 waves here, I'm still going to be under the assumption that this has hit the wave W, and we are still in this wave X. And essentially what is happening here is essentially we're getting that sort of 3 wave corrective move to the downside. Now this could be a possible WXY pattern to give us a wave X to then continue going to the upside, or we could possibly see even it being a WXYZ essentially to come towards the downside. But nevertheless, I'm going to stick with what I have here. Essentially, we have 535 and wave W, ABC. And then we have a sorry, that's wrong right here. This one goes right here. Okay, here we go. Essentially, we have 3 waves here, 1, 2, 3, and then what we have here is essentially in 5 wave move, 3 wave, and another 5 wave move. Then we could see one more push to the upside, and then come back down again to take out these lows, and then continue going up from there essentially. So something like that. But yeah, the way I see this, we are corrective. Just be a bit careful, and I would probably say the sells will probably be in your favor a lot more. At the same time, this could also be a three-way structure right here. So this could be a 1 2 3 1 2 3, we get one more push up and then we start selling, which is fine. Then we get that push up again, then shoot down. That's perfectly fine, but we know that this is the sort of wave X or the wave Y in the small degree to complete the wave X in the higher degree. We're essentially going to see sort of maybe these lows being hit eventually. That's what I genuinely think, with pound dollar. But yeah, nevertheless, bearish in my overall view. So here's pound yen. So pound yen has been moving nicely, as I've said in my analysis last week. I did take some few trades there, which is nice. I did get out here. I'm looking for another re-entry. But essentially, what we have here is simply the completion of this entire wave three. We have a wave one here, a wave two complete. We have a 1 2 3 4 5, which has just been complete, and that essentially gives us our wave three right here. And what we now experiencing now, or not experiencing, but we're now seeing now in the markets, is essentially a three-wave corrective move to the downside, another three waves up, maybe more three waves down again, or five waves down, to essentially give us that wave four to possibly even come back to touch the trend line, or essentially take these lows. Essentially, that's what my sort of long-term view of things are. With that being said, this is the sort of the wave four. We can use our Fibonacci retracement, and we're looking for that sort of 38% level to sort of be hit. When you line up with the 30% level, it literally just comes below this line. So we could see essentially the market come towards that 38% level before we get one more push up towards the upside in the higher degree to give us our fifth wave, before we then start to see a huge sell-off on this pair. So yeah, that's the sort of overall view with pound yen. In my opinion, bearish, but it's bearish correctively, so just be a bit careful. We are in that wave four, and I personally don't like trading this. In my opinion, the overall pairs, what they're currently doing, is correcting. I would probably say stay out of it, or if you can take sort of smaller trades in here, then you go ahead and do that. But nevertheless, for me personally, it's kind of sitting on a hands position, if I'm being honest. But yeah, I hope you guys like my analysis. Please do like, comment, share, and subscribe. And I have a Patreon for all those people that are interested in mentorship. You guys will have access to my private Discord. And yeah, I'll see you guys until the next one. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.